Hi guys, and welcome to Needle and Threads, and this is the last of our felting projects. So we've got Mrs. Christmas and we've got a fairy to have a go at today. So this is a hand felting project, and there's not a great deal of felting going on, but we've got a large bit of foam here, we've got a felting tool, we've got some roving felting wool. This one's got a very pretty twinkly tinsel inside it. You can use wool. And we're also going to use some silk tops. You can see that that shines so much nicer than the wool tops, and also a little bit of crystal organza. To make the arms then, I'm using half of a chenille stick, or pipe cleaner as they used to be called, and I'm using a pre-made felt ball. So you could use a polystyrene one, and if you have got neither, a lump of the roving wool, boiling hot water with a little bit of washing up liquid, rubber gloves, and keep rubbing vigorously while dunking it in the hot water will give you a felted ball to start. But I'm going to cheat today. So get some of your, I've got some flesh coloured roving, but I've also used white for the other one. So this is wool tops, so we're going to space it out slightly, pop our ball in the middle and wrap it round well. So just keep pulling your felt round until it fits round your ball nice and snugly, and then get a small piece of the wool roving and wind it, twist it around your fingers. This will give it a strength and stop it from breaking, and we're going to use that effectively to tie on the fairy's head. So we're going to wrap it round a few times, and I'm going to tie a knot. And so we've got the body in the middle, and we've got two thin strands at the sides. We're going to pull in between the middle to pop our arms in. So in between our body middle, we've ripped them apart, we've popped the pipe cleaner in, and then we've closed it. And then we're going to get hold of those thin strands that we've tied round the neck, and we're going to wrap them round your pipe cleaner right to the end. You can use a spot of glue if it won't stay in place, but normally if you just fold back your pipe cleaner, it will hold it into place. If you do run out before you get to the end of the arm, don't worry, just get yourself another strand, wrap it round a few times. Take your existing strand that you were working with. It's an idea to dampen your fingers, twist it round, and carry on till you get to the end of your arm. So now we've got the arms in place, we just take another strand of our roving, wrap it round your fingers again, twist it so that it's got a bit of strength to it, and we're going to wrap it round the neck and over and under the arms, so that we keep those arms in place and they don't fall out. So we're going to do that a few times. I didn't quite get a long enough bit of roving, so I'm just going to add another piece to that, and we're going to tie that or felt it at the back. So for the body then, it needs to be elongated, so we've added another bit of roving. We've created a little hole in the middle, slipped it on like a skirt, and we're just lengthening her body. And then we're going to take another strand of that roving, twisted, and we're going to wrap that round in place, holding that skirt in place. Now you can either wrap it round and tie it in a knot. I've got rather a big bit of roving there, so I've decided that I'm going to take it to the back, and I'm just going to use my needle felting tool to just felt that in and hold it into place. So there we are. So for the top then, I'm using this pink that's got some twinkly tinsel in it, which is going to look quite pretty. I'm spreading out my wool roving tops so that it meets in the middle at the back, so it looks just as nice at the back as the front. And we're spreading it out over the front, so we just see a little bit of the front of her dress before we take another strand of the roving and we wrap it round her body. So we've got to the back here, and this time I'm going to pull it tight and tie it in a knot. So you could use some pretty wools. You don't need to use the twisted roving wool if you want to. There we go. So you can tie it, or you can use your felting tool. So there is a basic body for our fairy. Now I've got some of this curly tops, so it's like a sheep's wool that's got lots of curls in it, but I've only got a few bits of it left, so I'm going to have to manipulate and do my little hairdressing piece with this. Now I'm sorry, I would normally use a single tool for putting on the hair and delicate work, but I can't find my single tool anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to felt her hair on just at the top and round the sides to secure it. And bless her, she's got a bit of a bowl patch. So we just keep adding our yarn. So I'm just going to bring that up to cover up that bowl patch. And I'm going to keep manipulating it. So I love this lovely curly yarn because I think it gives the fairies a lot of personality. But you can use ordinary wool roving for hair as well. And as we show in the Mrs. Christmas, we could put a hat on instead. So there we are. I've just been manipulating those curls so it gives my fairy a little bit of personality. So there is our fairy. So she is ready for being trimmed up with some wings. So I've taken some oak leaves from outside and used them as a pattern. So I've got some felt here that I could then use my felting tool to affix to the back. Or we could take a piece of the roving and thin it out very thin, and we could attach that to create wings. Or on this particular project I'm going to use this crystal organza. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of the organza in an oblong shape, and I'm going to concertina it up in the middle like a fan, fold it up. I'm going to put a few sewing stitches in to hold that in place, and I'm going to stitch that to the back of my fairy. And then all that I need to do now is give her some embellishment and personality. So all sorts of trims, beads you can pop on. I don't advocate using glitter these days because it's not very popular, but I have got a little bit of glue glitter here that I've had in my cupboard for a long time, so I'm going to use that. I put a few spots of that glitter glue into her hair, and then I'm adding a few crystals, and that will give her a very pretty look and just give you that little bit of sparkle without using too much glitter. And we've added a little bit of a silk flower here with a stone. So to go to the Mrs. Christmas then, I'm not going through the whole process again. We've got our basic body and we've added the red, showing a little bit of the white underneath. And this is where I'm going to use the silk tops. Now you can see the silk tops, they are so much softer and shinier than your wool tops. And I think they just add this ermine look to it. And I've given her a little bit of blonde hair. For a hat then, I've popped a piece of the wool roving round her head like a scarf, and I've just attached it to the top of her head and round the sides before getting hold of the roving and then twisting it with my fingers to make a Santa hat. And I'm just going to very loosely felt this. I'm not going to do this so that it's rigid. It's a very loose felt, and then I've felted it down to the side of her face. But then I've decided actually I should have had a little white band round there, so I'm just wrapping a little bit of white roving, twisting it, and I'm just going to attach that round the bottom of her hat. To finish this Mrs. Christmas fairy off then, I've added a pom-pom to her hat, and I've used those oak shaped leaves that I've used from the garden and cut them out in felt. And to finish with then, I've got a little bit of a broken bracelet that I am just going to use some glue. PVA is not really strong enough for doing metal, so I'm using a little bit of Yoo-hoo glue here just to add a teeny little bit of sparkle. And there we are, there are our felted angels finished. So next time we're going to do our log cabin Santa bottle gifts. So until then, my friends, take care.